Mame mo akwa abason kokra mbra echa media so adofo me gidi so oba de ada romanti obi biara ho eye ena wo hya ya dru KNUST campus in Great Hall ena na ye di 30th anniversary of the Republic of Ghana democracy no na eye mfinhia aduasa eti no adofo atwa hyiam wa hanom amampanimfo enso atwa hyiam wa parliamentarians nyina e wa hanom a speaker of parliament eti me pesa wo beje bre na wa hwe na kai say answer na no just obora page na o subscribe na o like na o share ma afoforo so enya bi ehwe afen so wo asem bi sabi asenka misro ya na de afa comment section ho no kai say ma me di dwuma de ho chia me banafo nyina de hye kronkron akua lenda obetimi so afrem akua blend ka me ho ne enkofa de aka embro.
Fortunately for Ghana, during this 30 and distinguished 30 years continuously, there hasn't been any military intervention. Thank you for Ghana, and we are happy. Allow me to take this opportunity to reflect on the trajectory of our democratic journey over the past 30 years. Parliament's oversight function, the cornerstone of democracy, is crucial for holding the executive accountable and ensuring implementation of policies in accordance with the laws passed and the budget approved by Parliament. In my estimation, Parliament is the most important arm of government due to its crucial representative role. As a representative of the people with whom you are in constant touch, it is imperative that you champion the cause of the Ghanaian population and ensure their dreams and aspirations are met. This includes ensuring that their needs in terms of social amenities are adequately provided for by the appropriate authorities. It is also essential for political representatives to create an enabling economic environment for the good people of Mother Ghana. We must do everything necessary through Parliament to build a society that will stand the test of time and position our children well in an increasingly interconnected world. In doing this, Parliament must not leave the responsibility entirely in the hands of the executive. Parliament must take its place of pride in our national development. The citizens expect prudent economic decisions and choices from Parliament that will help reduce our local and foreign debts. Parliament must diligently scrutinize financial agreements to ensure value for money. Unfortunately, Parliament continues to approve loans with negative consequences for the country and its people. Without mincing words, and this is an emphasis from our gracious King, Utumfo. Without mincing words, the Right Honorable Speaker, I believe that if Parliament had exercised its oversight responsibilities prudently, the country would not be in its current predicament. I question why members of Parliament are organized along political party lines. This system of arrangement should be re-evaluated. A more representational, less polarized grouping would be more beneficial for our political dispensation. I am glad that the Honorable Speaker is here with us to celebrate the longest ever democratic dispensation since the First Republic Undoubtedly, the current hybrid system works well for us here in Ghana. Although it represents challenges, I implore all of us to cherish and jealously guard this system while we strive to improve it for the betterment of Ghana. I must admit, however, that there has been a lot of consensus building in the past, as exhibited when the current speaker was elected. Members of both sides of the House recognized certain sterling qualities in him, which has promoted democracy in the country, especially in a hung parliament. Right Honorable Speaker, you have navigated complex challenges to guide and guard the House thus far, and I can only pray for God's grace and guidance and the support of our great ancestors to strengthen and grant you wisdom to bring the 8th Parliament to a successful end. The spirit of the Constitution must be maintained, as it is the best political system we have witnessed so far. Right Honorable Speaker, as a traditional leader who is both a father and a referee in our overtly partisan democratic dispensation, I call for a fair and equitable distribution of our financial and economic resources across the country to develop our motherland. Currently, Ghana, the underdevelopment of the regions, particularly in terms of roads and railway networks, needs considerable action to remedy the situation. In conclusion, I urge Parliament to live up to its oversight responsibility to shape the country in a way that reaps benefits for all citizens. Once again, on behalf of His Majesty Otumfuo Osei-Tutu, my gracious leader, I welcome you all to Kumasi, the Kingdom of God. May you have a fruitful and successful discourse. Thank you all.
Who is gracious, majestic, but also for he who is full of wisdom. May His Royal Majesty Otumfuo live long. Madam Chairman, although you are here to deputize for His Royal Majesty, I must say that you have rightly fitted into his big shoes. Your speech indeed was very deep, and we are very grateful. May I also introduce the presence of the Honorable Joseph Boateng, Member of Parliament for Afram Bay South. Madam Chairman, I think once you have accepted to chair this occasion, it is appropriate that indeed I now refer to you as the head of this occasion. And so with your kind permission, I'd like to acknowledge some traditional leaders who are with us today. We have Bafo Owusu Bediako, Dobi Abraham. Thank you for being here. Nana Jamna Kente the second, Professor Hene. Bafo Owusu Amankwatia Avia, Bantima Hene. Achemfo Asafubuachi Achemabosu. Tufo Aprohine. Anaya Koko, Tufo Pasaso Hima. Nana the free year, Wabrebon, Fanchebra, Wasonima. So I want to see where Nana Gabe, Afrakama. I think the two for a senior already mentioned there. Nana Chairman, may I invite the Hamreso Apofuma of Kumasi Cultural Center to give us an interview. Dr. Muff, in describing you, forgot to say something which, for me, is very instructive and very telling. It shows your leadership abilities and the fact that you are a man of your words. During my short stay here on this campus, anytime students decided to misbehave, there was one person, nobody there to really towards. And that was the man said, Chiwakesi. Now I'm here. It reminds me of the leadership qualities of Mr. Speaker, who always sits in his chair. And when MPs decide to make some noise, he will sit quietly, just look around, and then the next thing you hear, I can call everybody by his name. If you misbehave, I'll call you by your name. Yes, and I just said that. Mr. Speaker. Madam Chairman, with your kind permission, I'd like to invite the clerk to Parliament. Very gentleman, very quiet, but he's a very sweet operator. Mr. Sir,
Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Dasibre Osegonsu, Omahini of Mampon Traditional Area, representing His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, King of Asante, Honorable Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Honorable members of the Leadership of Parliament, Honorable members of Parliament, distinguished members of the Regional Coordinating Council, Honorable Minister, Honorable Regional Minister of Ashanti Region, distinguished chiefs and traditional rulers, members of the clergy, our respected opinion leaders, the Vice Chancellor and Management of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Deputy Clerks, Directors and Officers of the Parliamentary Service, students of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, our friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor for me to, on behalf of the Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members of the Leadership of Parliament, honorable members of Parliament, and staff of the Parliamentary Service, render a few remarks at this auspicious public forum, which is the fifth in a series of forums to commemorate 30 years of uninterrupted parliamentary democracy under the Fourth Republic. Similar events were organized in Tamale, Takrady, Ho, and Tikima in furtherance of the objective of bringing Parliament closer to the doorsteps of the Ghanaian citizenry, who are our principal stakeholders. And the Honorable Minister for the Ashanti Region, the chiefs and other traditional leaders, the Vice Chancellor and Management of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, and all the good people of Asante for the opportunity and platform offered us to present our invitation to today's public forum. Mr. Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, Ghana's return to democratic governance under the Fourth Republic can be traced to the establishment of the Consultative Assembly, which comprised members of all of our challenges as a nation. We cannot also refute the benefits that have accrued therefrom. These would have been impossible under military rule. Parliamentary democracy has given the people of Ghana the right to promulgate laws through elected representatives and provides the opportunity for citizens to submit memoranda to Parliament in respect of bills before the House. This public forum provides us with a valuable opportunity to deepen our understanding of our democratic principles, share ideas on emerging trends, and brainstorm on innovative practices that will strengthen our democratic credentials. Mr. Speaker, that's a great, ladies and gentlemen. The Parliamentary Service, in its nonpartisan role, remains committed to providing the technical and procedural support required by Parliament to fulfill its constitutional mandate. We strive to uphold the culture, values, and principles of independence, non-partisanship, and diligence handed down to us by our former clerks of Parliament and staff of the service. I am confident that as we celebrate 30 years of parliamentary democracy under the Fourth Republic, our aspirations extend far beyond this milestone. We will continue to strive for even greater achievements and leave a lasting legacy for posterity as we firmly establish democratic principles in our nation. I thank you for that attention. Thank you very much.
Is yet to come. Parliament shall get there, and Ghana will be better for all of us. Nana Chairman, with your kind permission, I would like to introduce the Honorable Asante Boateng, MP, Asante Akensau, and Deputy Minister for Rural Development. Parliament is divided into two. And when I say Parliament is divided, although we see ourselves as one group belonging to the majority side and one group belonging to the minority side, it is always, there is one thing that always brings us together. That one thing is to see how Ghana moves forward. Yes, we do always disagree. Sometimes, not always, sometimes. But we always disagree to agree to move this nation forward. In Parliament, we work as a team. And so when issues are being discussed, sometimes we shed off our political toleration and look at that which will move this country forward. And here to represent or give remarks on behalf of the minority leader, the Honorable Dr. Casey Latufosin, my own good friend, Deputy Minority Chief Whip, Honorable Ibrahim Ahmed.
Right, Honorable Speaker, Nana Chairman, kindly permit me to stand on the existing protocol and present these few remarks on behalf of the minority leader, Dr. Crystal Atuposen, and the minority opposing party. Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, it is an honor to be invited to make these few remarks at this August forum as part of the 30th anniversary celebration of the Fourth Republican Parliament of Ghana. Indeed, three decades of uninterrupted parliamentary democracy is a feat worthy of celebration. Mr. Speaker, it is a known fact that our parliamentary dispensation has not been disrupted for 30 years in a West African sovereignty, and therefore is worthy of celebration. It is a known fact that our nation has experienced some disruptions to our constitutional governance, but the the defining moment was when the late former President A.J. Rawlings chose to give democracy a chance. As a matter of fact, on 28 April 1992, the referendum that resulted in the adoption of the 1992 Constitution became a significant turning point in our nation's history. Mr. Speaker, Ghanaians agreed to chart a new course. We decided on 7 January 1983 as the date on which to begin this journey of our democratic dispensation. Mr. Speaker, indeed, we have every reason to celebrate our democracy as we mark the 30 years of uninterrupted parliamentary democracy. Mr. Speaker, Parliament is the heart of democracy, and we can be certain that democracy flourishes only when Parliament is properly constituted and it is conducting its parliamentary business. Even here, as the Speaker is here with the Deputy Speakers and members of Parliament, all we need is the means, and parliamentary business can continue. Laws can be promulgated. We as parliamentarians are therefore privileged to make decisions on behalf of the people of Ghana, whom we always are accountable to. Parliamentary democracy has enabled our dear citizens to participate, criticize, examine government policies, and therefore pave way for consensus building. And this engages over the past 31 years and ensure a more prosperous and peaceful country. I thank you for the opportunity. Long live the Fourth Republic. Long
in West Africa. And I believe that we must be grateful and thankful to God for everything that is done for us. We have listened to the Deputy Minority Chief Whip, the Honorable Ghanaian MP. It is now the turn for the representative of the majority leader, the Honorable Alexander to take up the podium. And to do that is the Honorable Deputy Majority Leader, the Honorable Patricia P.J. I think that's another beautiful name, Rosalie.
Thank you very much, MC, for the day. And I must say that we are back home. And when we are home, we are the people. Nana Teba, and then that's a prayer, that's everyone's Right Honorable Speaker, I'm really elated and very happy and highly honored for the opportunity to salute our fellow citizens in this great region. And I'm making reference to our traditional leaders, our leases and our proposals, our public servants, our future leaders. That means the students who are representing the various schools in the Ashanti region, the media, and the individuals who have found themselves here. As we continue with the anniversary celebration of the 30 years of parliamentary democracy under the fourth republic. And Chairman, right honorable Speaker, on the 28th of April 1993, the Ghanaian people carved for ourselves a new constitutional order and declared our visions in the preamble of the 1992 Constitution that we shall, in exercise of our natural and inalienable rights, to establish a framework of government, we shall secure for ourselves and posterity the blessings of liberty, equality of opportunities, and prosperity, and the affirmation of our commitment to freedom, justice, property, and accountability, promulgate for ourselves the Constitution. This declaration subsequently gave birth to the establishment of our parliamentary democracy on the 7th of January, 1993. We have now talked about 31 years of parliamentary democracy, and we must be proud as people for this milestone. Pausing for a moment to celebrate this date and take stock of the journey thus far is indeed worthwhile and beneficial. Mr. Speaker, Madam Chairman, the fourth Republican Parliament has contributed significantly to the economic and political development of our country and has ensured the delivery of public goods to our people through lawmaking, oversight, deliberation, and constituency services. We must continue to sustain the gains of our parliamentary democracy through continuous education. The younger generation must have sufficient knowledge of the political history and governance of this country, and reasons the forebears of the Fourth Republic chose the path of constitutional rule and not otherwise. The role of Parliament and the functions of parliamentarians, including representation, deliberation, information dissemination, legislation, financial control, or the power of oversight and ratification of agreements, must be highlighted and explained continuously to disabuse the minds of citizens that parliamentarians can do everything under the sun. This will certainly motivate the cultivation of career MPs, not persons who would like to enter Parliament with personal and vindictive agenda. As Ghanaians, we should all be encouraged to protect the gains of our democracy and contribute our quota to leading a better and peaceful Ghana for the next generation. Madam Chair, Right Honorable Speaker, ladies and gentlemen, in a few months' time, the general elections will be held. And once again, Ghanaians will exercise their constitutional right of elected president and representatives for Parliament. Elections form the foundation of our democracy, as it gives us the opportunity to assess the management of our country, hold them accountable, and demand the interests of the people. I will implore on all eligible citizens to exercise their legitimate right to vote, and in doing so, also protect the peace and the unity that we enjoy as people. And I would like to emphasize that there shouldn't be any one single person who will come out We must continue to reassure ourselves that with hard work and dedication, we shall attain the mission of securing prosperity for our nation and uphold the peace and unity of our country. Let me commend all past presidents of the Fourth Republic, as well as former speakers of the Fourth Republican Parliament, who have all navigated Parliament onto this path and contributed their quota to the sustenance of parliamentary democracy. I must also commend the efforts of all former MPs for their sacrifices and dedication to the growth of our parliamentary democracy. To the good people of Ghana, I say a big ayuko. May God bless us. May God bless our homeland Ghana and make her bold and strong. God bless us all. And I thank you for your answer.
Our hardworking MMPCs who are here present, thank you very much for being here. I think we can say that we very much appreciate you being here. We also acknowledge the presence who brought us this far. We are indeed grateful. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for your opening remarks and the keynote address given by the Second Deputy Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the difficulty in executing your job came to light when you use the word impartial speaker. Many people laughed, but that is the difficulty of your work. But I must say thank you for navigating the way in bringing us this far. Thank you for bringing your experience to bear. Thank you for mastering the balancing act. Indeed, you have done so well, and we are so grateful to you. Next on the program is Q&A. Going to be an open forum. Parliament can never claim to be custodian of all knowledge. Parliament do not know it all. It is through the electorate that Parliament can fashion out laws that will inure to the benefit of our country. What we hear from you will enable us will help us to do that which is right for the forward march of our nation. And so it's going to be an open forum where people will be allowed to ask questions. We have one microphone in front and then one at the back. We are going to take questions in fives, and the Speaker and the leadership of Parliament will try to do justice to the questions that may be asked. And so I will ask the gentleman to coordinate the questions. But before we do that, I have in my hand here this bookmark. I think a lot of you do have. You can scan what is at the back on your phone. And then whatever you want to put into writing and helping, that will be very much appreciated. So question time, open forum.
Hello. A very good afternoon to you all, sir. I started on observing the protocols. Mr. Speaker, I learned where one of the drafters of our disability at 015 since 2006. And it's 18 years now. I see no reason why this Parliament is going out without passing our act. Because currently, new buildings are being sprung up without accommodating persons with disability. Even this auditorium, we find it difficult to get in here. So we see that issues bothering persons with disabilities have become afterthoughts. And always, we come as in a group of the marginalized people. We need to be very stated in any public forum that we are in existence. So persons with disabilities have to come first in our day-to-day activities. Thank you so much.
Representing YWC Ashanti. My first question goes to poor representation of women in Parliament is a worry to all of us. Now my question is, has there been any consideration to ensure that women are well represented without any intimidation from well-to-do men and parliamentarians? Number two, can there be a case where Parliament could sponsor women who would want to serve at Parliament? These are my two questions.
I hadn't been cut down because of the 40 years and the mayor went to me about it. Now, Mr. We are about to our question. Your question and your back. Now, you are nothing for us. You know, I didn't have
My name is Alban, and my question is the right honorable speaker. When we are talking about the constitutional amendments, I want in the public belief ex-gracious about APs. And recently there was a report on allowance for the APs. So I want to know how it can be substantiated from the ex-gracious.
Original chairman of that mine is not a question. It's an appeal to my brother and friend, there's a bill, a new disability bill, currently at cabinet level. And I believe that bill went past for assistance to overcome some of those challenges my brother and earlier. And I just want to appeal to take a personal interest in the bill so that when it comes to Parliament, you speak up. Otherwise, when Parliament is dissolved, I think it will become another issue in the next Parliament. So it's a personal appeal to you, your honours.
My question is that in case you are faced with a bill that in discussing that bill and passing that bill into law, it might separate the Parliament or separate candidates. How do you go about it? So my question is that in case you have a bill that in discussing the bill in Parliament and that bill is going to be passed into law, and you know that when it's been passed into law, it will separate Ghanaians and separate parliament. How do you handle that bill?
But your last 5 of any now, Mr. Speaker, depending for any other.
I'm called Francis Watson. My question is more focused on salary limitation. We've put a proposal before the House to approve and acknowledge salary interpreters. So, Honorable Speaker, I hope you get access to that.
Mr. Speaker.
I am just going to make an attempt. The attempt is not to answer your questions. The attempt is to try and share information with you. Unfortunately, the mic was not too audible to me, but I managed to get a few points. And with the assistance of my director for public engagement, I have 5 main questions to respond to. The first, and I think 2 persons spoke on that issue, the issue of people with disability. The first one dealing with the Act itself, which, according to the questioner, I took part in drafting in 2005. That is true. I was in Parliament then, and we went through it together with Ghanaians. Usually when we are processing a bill, we invite all stakeholders to come to discuss the bill with us. We actually learn from the stakeholders, not just because they on daily basis experience it, but it affects them directly more than the others. And so we did that. We passed the bill. For some years now, the state and some stakeholders have not been able to abide by and implement some of the provisions of the bill, including what we just referred to, the difficulty in accessing public buildings. When I became the speaker, I immediately did a post-act scrutiny and did a research in a number of the legislations we passed some years ago, and this was one of them. And I got a petition from the association on what we just referred to. But this is a public bill. It is not a private member bill, which meant that the government will have to work on it and then submit it to Parliament for us to refine with you to make sure that we got it right. And so it's being done by the government, and I'm happy the second person mentioned about it being at the cabinet level. When it comes to Parliament, we'll definitely invite the association again to come around for us to go through it together and to make sure that this time around we get it right. Personally, I grew up with disabled. My family had a lot of blind people because of the prevalence of the church fly in my area. I also had a lot of people who were involved in accidents, and in those days, most deliveries were done by TBAs, and we had a lot of challenges. So I personally grew up with disabled persons, and I feel like they feel, because moving around with them we had a lot of challenges. So I'm very concerned about the society, and I've been personally supporting them in all things. So I agree with you, it's high time we look at it. That is why we need to strengthen Parliament, to have a research department that keep on feeding us with this. In the absence of that, I have linked Parliament now with the civil society, the research organization, the think tanks, and your association is included. And we established a citizens bureau, which on a daily basis you can get in touch and discuss all these things with. Now look at the other question on women participation, not just in Parliament, but in decision-making process and in leadership. I am really very saddened about the progress so far in Ghana. We are far, far, far behind many African countries. We are given a deadline, all countries, to reach above 30% by the year 2020. A lot of African countries, I know about almost 15 that have gone beyond the 30%. But as we just mentioned, ours is still 14.5%, which is very bad. But Parliament has no vote in this matter. We can't create seats for women until the country itself decides that we move away from the one constituency, one MP, and one vote, one MP syndrome. If we move away from that and create special seats, like was done by our first president, where he created 10 special seats for women, and that was left to only women. But that would involve a constitutional amendment, and that is why we kept on referring to the agency in bringing for your consideration the 1992 Constitution. We need to reform it to capture some of these things. But as at now, we have a bill before us in Parliament. The bill came under a certificate of urgency. They wanted us to pass it within a few days. But being the representatives of the people, we realized that there was a need for us to get back to you to make sure that your interest is what is captured in the bill. And so I made a few statements on the floor. It was referred to the committee. The committee came back and said, no, we need to get back to the stakeholders so that we can improve the draft that government brought. And truly, the committee is chaired by the Deputy Majority Leader, who is here with us, your own Honorable Patricia Apieje, and they saw that the bill fell short of expectation. And so they've submitted so many amendments to the bill. And we have to bring in the Attorney General again to recapture these amendments so that Parliament will pass it before we proceed on recess. In fact, almost on every meeting, I stress the agency involved in passing this bill. And I hope that by the time we do that, there will be some of the solutions that we'll be able to capture in this new bill to empower our women. Because without the women, we can't progress. They are in the majority, and we all know that they are better managers than us. They don't only manage the house, they manage the children, and they also manage the men. And research has shown that women are better managers because they have a higher emotional intelligence than men. That is a fact, and I support that. So we are working on this seriously, and I believe at the end of the day, you'll be a bit impressed with it, but we can finish it well after the constitutional review is completed. The issue of ex gratia is a very thorny issue. The founders, or I should say, founding fathers of the 1992 Constitution envisaged a situation where they wanted some particular category of public servants, including political office holders. The ex gratia is not for members of parliament, and it's not even ex gratia, it's gratuity. There's a difference between ex gratia and gratuity. And it's not for members of parliament alone. It comes through a category of public servants and political office holders, including Auditor General, including the chairpersons of all the constitutional commissions, including ministers of state, the presidency, judiciary, and all others. It's not just members of parliament. But the concept was to assure them, because of the importance of the position they occupy and the decisions they take on your behalf, the concept was to assure them, don't think about yourself. Think about the people you represent. Because after your office, we will take care of you. So it was to assist us to contain corruption. And I'm happy that a number of industrial chiefs from this region were members of the Consultative Assembly. Unfortunately, in practice, it has not served its purpose. It has not been able to assist us to curb or contain corruption. And so when I made an attempt to contest as a presidential candidate, I did announce that if elected as president, I was going to ensure that that article is amended from the Constitution. I got a reaction, and the reaction was from my colleagues in Parliament to say that we don't support the candidature of Honorable Bagbin. And when I got in touch with them in privacy, some disclosed that you have already announced that you are going to abolish ex gratia. So why should we vote for you? You have been enjoying it for all these years. Now it's our turn. You say we should enjoy it. But I can assure you that what a candidate spends to be elected is more than what you call ex gratia. And so you ask yourself, how come that people are struggling to go into parliament when we say it doesn't benefit the people? The reality is that, look at the former members of parliament. How many of them are rich? Don't look at the trappings of the office. I am the only lucky person to be there for up to 32 years. Many have fallen after just 4 years. And when you fall from there, it's very difficult to survive. Because you are seen as a politician. Nobody will employ you. When you are doing your business, only your party members will come to you. And when your party members come to you, they are looking for it for free. They don't want to pay. And so it has really wreaked havoc on families of members of parliament. So I agree totally with anybody who comes to say that we should do away with Article 71 of the Constitution. It hasn't served its purpose, and there's no use maintaining it. We have to look at the National Emoluments Commission for everybody, because our Constitution talks about us creating a free and just society, and that is what we should focus on. So we should not give some special conditions to any office holder, except for the purpose of properly serving the people. So I agree with you. The last question talk about handling bills which seek to create division. I've never come across a bill that seeks to create division. division in the society, division in parliament, or what, I don't know. But what I know is that party politics is an attempt at rather harmonizing our differences. Party politics is an attempt to try to let us accept the differences that God has created. Party politics is an attempt to let us tolerate and be able to accommodate the views of each other so that we can get a peaceful and harmonious society. Party politics is an attempt at responding to the interests of each and every member of the society. That is what the law seeks to achieve. And so I don't think any law will come with the intention of creating division that are negative. The division may be positive, like granting the opportunity for people to form parties. And the parties are to be based on ideologies. And ideology is a philosophy of the way you want life to be organized as a people. What we have in Ghana is still an attempt at achieving that. And so even though we talk about center-right and center-left, when you see the practice, it's just a cabal of leaders that run the show. And so now you see that the two parties are becoming the same. Both NDC and MPP are all meeting at the center. But depending on who is leading and who are surrounding him, they try to move the party in another direction, particularly when they are in government. And you have all experienced it. We are still experiencing it today. So those are things that are allowed. But Parliament, to be sure, and I want all of you to be sure about this, we just then proceed to pass a bill without listening and accepting your views. That is not what we do on the floor. Many a times we advertise, we invite you, many of you don't show up. And that is why we are moving from Accra to reach out to you and let you know. And then you become vigilant. Anytime we have these issues and you are invited, come to Parliament, sit with us, let us hear your views, and we'll factor those views in the law or policies that we are approving on the floor of Parliament. This is the information I can share with you. I might not have satisfied you, but that is the best I can do. I think I finished with all the 5 questions.
Mr. Speaker, it was popular. And I was coming to you to the shop of your Tosun, the Bebusa.
Nanyado, with previous who pay more a fee until it was. There's another stressor, make a Picasso. If you say you are sentiment, and you know, can give this Sunday, people because they can't want to say, I want to pet yesterday. Nana, on my motto about Emma and Penny for from parliamentary, so a pen and I'm parliament, not what she said, of my only into. And one man may be a soup here. Nelson Pemberton, I said, you only said, do one man, young mamma, I have 2 about the same you almost said, political party on when, and most of them be able to go down to the extent that you previous and maybe grab a woman and can't go in the control. They are check with that Parliament. And more money control of second Mama here. And your best friend, you are the Parliament of Ghana, you need MPP Parliament, you need NDC Parliament. Say, and never more money come for your best friend, after meeting number Joe, no may and say, I walk on my Ghana, no money.
Joshua Kami. Please, my name is Joshua Kami. I believe that we all acknowledge the importance of this forum, which is the Fourth Republic, protection of the Fourth Republic. Mr. Speaker, prior to your election as the Speaker of Parliament,
there were some incidents that occasioned the process, especially with regards to the invasion of military personnel into the chambers of parliament. I would want to know if, after that incident that led to your election as the Speaker of Parliament, if anybody has been held responsible, because some of us believe that that incident was a threat to our Fourth Republic. So I would humbly want to find out if, after that incident, anybody has been held responsible. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, Right Honourable Speaker, permit me to stand on all existing protocols as I answer my question. What is the democratic system of Ghana putting in place in order to control the high unemployment rate, lack of diversification in the economy, and insufficient infrastructure development to create an enabling environment for its people? And if there is any assurance we will get, if not eliminate, at least reduce the substantial pressure on public finances, such as loans and debt sustainability. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Rose from Parliament. Today we heard that action will be taken against youth participating in Parliament. But we also find ourselves in a community where when we, the youth, decide to speak up on our problems, we are considered disrespectful and sometimes ungrateful. My question is that what is the guarantee that when we bring our appeals to the Parliament, it will be heard and not neglected? And what are the
I'm a student of Ghanaian University. I'm not old enough to have seen the start of the fourth Republican Parliament, but I have grown in the safety of it due to the things the leadership of Ghana have done, and I'd like to say thank you. And my question is, at the start of this current Parliament, we did see some events transfer, and I say this in all due respect, and we did see a sitting member of Parliament take ballot papers and proceed to chew them. This, I believe, is a threat to our democracy. How is Parliament ensuring that nothing like this happens again? Yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
Please, I would like to ask that if there is any law or if there is, how can it be strengthened to prevent the training of excess nurses and medical professionals in Ghana? For instance, we have more than 4 nurses staying home all the 4 years staying home all the time. We've been training like excess for what the states can absorb. We see it to be a national security threat. For instance, if someone has been trained to save life and the person is not absorbed, or if there's any rule that can escort the nurse and midwife from the state, for the state to also get something from those we have spent money on. Thank you.
Respectfully, I'm very grateful. I am prior to this Lady Carol Addison, the regional director of the guiding officers at the beginning. Yesterday, I the lawyer, to the extent that parliamentarians as lawyers are supposed to think in the spur of the moment. So then most of the deliberations does not need to go on recess for them to come to a decision. I listened to them in Parliament here, so then my humble question to Mr. Speaker to let me know in the Parliament of Ghana how often do you go on recess, on what basis, and how long has your recess? Thank you very much.
I want to, actually, I wish I was a student so that my colleagues, after I respond to the questions, will clap for me. Unfortunately, I am not a student, and so I don't get your applause after I answer the questions. We have put in place a structure in the parliamentary community to receive the youth as members of parliament and to take their inputs in the consideration of everything we do in parliament. And so Ghana's parliament has established a youth caucus, and we are a member of the international community of youth parliaments. In fact, our parliament sponsored a number of youth